The complete cast restoration. Advantages of the complete cast restoration include excellent longevity and strength. They may be adapted to better facilitate hygiene, for example, as seen in the illustration of a tooth with margins in the furcation area. Disadvantages. The complete cast restoration may present an objectionable display of metal. Extensive removal of tooth structure, as with all complete coverage restorations, is required, with possible pulpal and periodontal sequelae. The metal hinders pulpal vitality testing. Type 3 or 4 gold is used in fabrication. Indications for the complete cast restoration include extensive loss of coronal tooth structure. Whenever axial or occlusal contours cannot be corrected with a more conservative restoration. In general, most endodontically treated posterior teeth. Contraindications include situations in which a more conservative restoration is possible, or in situations where a high aesthetic need exists. The slide illustrates cutting instruments needed to prepare the tooth. Step 1. Reduction of the occlusal surface. Use your Boley or gold gauge to measure width of the burr. Depth cuts are made. 0.8 mm in the central groove. 1.2 mm at the cusp tips. Measure these depths with a periodontal probe. Reduce the tooth anatomically. Reduction of the non-functional cusp is a minimum of 1 mm. Reduction of the functional cusp requires a minimum of 1.5 mm. Gross reduction should allow for smoothing and finishing to be performed without over-reduction. It is a good idea to reduce only one half of the tooth, to maintain the other half as a reference. Step 2. Place the functional cusp bevel. It is parallel to the slope of the opposing cusp. This will be at approximately 45 degrees to the long axis of the tooth. The occluso-axial line angle of the non-functional cusp should also be beveled or rounded. This is referred to as the non-functional cusp bevel. Reduction can be verified by closing into red wax, and measuring the reduction with a caliper. Perform this also with lateral mandibular movements. Step 3. Depth cuts are placed on the buccal and lingual. Axial reduction is performed in the long axis of the tooth. The chamfer width should be no greater than 1/2 the width of the instrument used to create it. Chamfer depth at the margin should be 0.5 to 0.7 mm. Ensure that the finish line is not lipped. Lipping occurs when the burr is deeper than 1/2 its width. The margin is 0.5 mm subgingival. Bulky over-contoured margins are a leading cause of periodontal problems. Adequate chamfer width is important to avoid an over-contoured restoration. A common error is to over-taper the axial walls. The head of the handpiece should remain perpendicular to the occlusal table of the tooth. The wall of the preparation supports the burr. This allows a smoother surface finish. Persistent stopping and starting of the handpiece results in an inconsistent surface. The tapered diamond burr, if correctly used, should not produce undercuts. The burr should be maintained in contact with the axial wall for the entire circumference of the preparation. Step 4. Reduce the interproximal. Avoid abrasion of the adjacent tooth. The contact area should have sufficient space to allow a die saw to be inserted without abrasion of the die. A metal matrix band and/or wedges may be placed to reduce nicking of the adjacent tooth. Step 5. Finish the preparation. Ensure that the surface is uniformly smooth with glassy smooth finish lines. A finishing diamond may be used on the slow-speed handpiece. Round all line angles. Inspect the tooth for adequate clearance both in MIP and all lateral excursions. Step 6. Place a groove to increase resistance form. Used when resistance form has been compromised. Placed with slow-speed tapered carbide burr. 1/70. Avoid placing groove on the finish line. Summary of reduction. Finish line 0.5 to 0.7 mm. Functional cusp reduction 1.5 to 2 mm. Non-functional cusp reduction 1 to 1.5 mm. Axial walls should have a 3 degrees taper per side. Total convergence angle 6 degrees. The preparation should be smooth, but not polished. Chamfer should be 1/2 the width of the burr at the margin. Avoid lipping. Remove lip with a K-tight diamond.